This evening, Brazil's president pays a visit to Guyana. Armed gunmen robbed a Grange family of more than $500,000. Two persons died in separate road accidents. In the region, Colombia extradites drug lord Otoniel to the United States, and internationally, WHO puts the global COVID-19 death toll at nearly 15 million. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. President of the Federative Republic of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, arrived in Guyana today at the invitation of Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. The Brazilian president met with President Ali at State House before proceeding to the Arthur Chung Convention Center, where they will sign agreements. The two countries share a broad bilateral agenda covering issues such as infrastructure development, energy cooperation, trade and investment, health, agriculture, and defense and security cooperation, and these will be among the issues to be addressed by the two heads of state. Guyana and Brazil established diplomatic relations in August of 1968 and enjoyed strong ties of friendship and cooperation. Despite many warnings from officials, fatalities on the country's highway persist, as the source explains in this report that two persons died in separate accidents in the last 48 hours. Here's more.
Two individuals lost their lives this week in two separate accidents. The first individual lost their life due to speeding on the roadway. The speeding driver died after losing control of car PSS 3117 and colliding with a concrete medium bridge early on Thursday morning on the Windsor Forest Public Road, West Coast, Demerara. Dead is Kelvin Guyana of Samantha Point Grove, East Bank, Demerara. Two children, ages 12 and 6, were in the vehicle at the time of the accident and received injuries. According to a police report, Guyana was proceeding east along the northern side of the road when he lost control, swerved south, drove off the road, and collided with the bridge. Guyana was picked up in an unconscious condition by public spirited citizens and taken to the West Demerara Regional Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The children were carried to the same hospital in conscious condition. The 12-year-old was admitted for observation, while the 6-year-old had a shattered left leg and injuries throughout her body. Meanwhile, a motorcyclist, Bajindra Kadaru of Albion, Quarantine Berbice, was killed in an accident on Nig Public Road in Quarantine Region 6 early this morning. According to reports, around 6 a.m., the man was riding his motorcycle home from the mosque when he collided with a green Toyota 212 driven by a woman. According to reports, the female driver is in police custody. According to reports, Kahardu was also a co-worker of Sharon's Halal Snackets on Albion Public Road. Investigations are underway. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. As many of the nation's children continue to suffer abuse at the hands of some adults, two cases of child abuse are currently being investigated in Region 10. A 24-year-old man reportedly beat his 5-year-old son for consuming an entire portion of Chinese food. Police headquarters, in a statement, noted that the matter was reported to the Amelia's Ward Police Outpost in Linden, Region 10, on Tuesday. The young child was taken to the Linden Hospital complex for medical attention. He is now in the protection of the welfare officers. According to the Guyana Police Force, the man was arrested and later released on station bail since he is suffering from tuberculosis. However, he will be prosecuted. Additionally, the mother of a 1-year-old child is alleging that her child was sexually abused while in the care of the child's father. The child was taken to the Linden Hospital complex for an examination. The police were called in and the man was arrested. The matter is being investigated. Any intentional harm or mistreatment to a child under 18 years old is considered child abuse. Child abuse takes many forms, such as physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, medical abuse, and neglect. Persons are encouraged to call the 914 hotline to report any form of child abuse. All calls will be treated with the strictest of confidence. Stick around after the break. Armed gunmen robbed the Grange family of more than $500,000, and police in London investigating an armed robbery at Amelia's Ward.
The Guyana Elections Commission GCOM is currently conducting a cycle of continuous registration. Anyone who will be 14 years or older by October 31, 2022 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. It is your civic duty and legal responsibility to apply for registration if you are eligible. When you do, you would be issued a national ID card and be listed to vote at future elections if you meet other eligibility criteria. Persons could be fined or sent to prison for refusing to apply for registration. Registration will end on May 29, 2022. For further information, please contact GCOM on hotline numbers 225-5868, 225-5808, or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
At John Lewis Styles, we carry only first quality men's and women's clothing, footwear, and accessories. As authorized dealers, our items come directly from the manufacturing brands and are available in all sizes and colors. What we sell was never on display in another store. It's time you know the truth about what you buy. Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
They say that when it hits you, it hits you. A feeling so strong that it's impossible not to give in to a juicy piece of KFC. To feel elevated by the aroma and to free fall into its exciting flavor. Some call it love, attraction, desire. We call it KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
The Guyana Elections Commission GCOM is currently conducting a cycle of continuous registration. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by October 31, 2022 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Where to register? Visit the registration office responsible for your area of residence to apply for registration. See Sunday Press for the locations of the registration offices. Registration offices are open from Monday to Friday, 8 to 18 hours, Saturdays and Sundays from 10 to 14 hours. The offices will be closed on holidays. This registration exercise will end on Sunday, May 29, 2022. For further information, contact GCOM on hotline numbers 225-5868, 225-5808. Or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. A family from Grange was robbed in excess of $500,000 by armed bandits while in the safety of their home. Lester Sobers has more details.
Police are investigating an alleged robbery on the arms committed on 3 residents of Lot 84 Independence Street, Grange, West Bank, Demerara on May 4, 2022. The robbery occurred at around 7:45 p.m., allegedly by 2 identifiable males, one armed with a small handgun and the other armed with an axe. The victims are 40-year-old Kumari Prasad, a housewife who was robbed of a phone, jewelry, cash, and other valuable totaling of over $370,000. 21-year-old Randy Prasad, a vendor, was robbed of a phone and cash totaling $90,000. 18-year-old Raja Prasad, she was relieved of cell phones and jewelry valued over $80,000. Inquiry disclosed that the victims were at home when the two men came into their yard and confronted a male butcher who was in the yard at the time. He was held at gunpoint by the suspect armed with a gun, who directed him into the house. The two suspects then confronted the other victims in the house and demanded that they handed over their valuables. The suspects then forced the victims into a bedroom and relieved them of the articles before making good their escape on foot in a northern direction. Several persons were questioned and the area was canvassed for surveillance cameras. Investigations are ongoing. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sovers.
Thanks, Esther. Police in Region 10 are investigating an alleged robbery under arms that occurred at South Amelia's Ward Mackenzie Linden on May 5th. The incident occurred around 11:20 p.m. by two identifiable males, both armed with handguns. Enquiries disclosed that the victim, 24-year-old Shylon Lawrence, a soldier, resides in a flat concrete structure with a fully fenced yard. According to the victim, he went home with his motorcycle CL2521 and parked it in his yard, then went into his home and secured his jewelry. He then proceeded outside in his veranda to relax. While sitting in his veranda, he was confronted by the two perpetrators who entered his yard, jumped into his veranda, and hit him in the head with their firearms, causing him to receive injuries. They then snatched his iPhone, valued at $300,000, from his hand. They also took away his motorcycle keys. One of the suspects discharged a round from his gun before escaping on foot. The matter was reported to the police and the scene was processed, photographed, and canvassed for CCTV cameras. A .32 spent shell was recovered, lodged in the veranda. Investigations are ongoing. Several individuals in Region 9 were detained after they were busted with cannabis by Canoe. Dale Jarvis has more.
Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit officers conducted a narcotics operation in Tabatinga, Central Lethem, which led to the discovery of a quantity of suspected cannabis and the arrest of 3 individuals on May 5, 2022. 21-year-old Jason Clement and 24-year-old Leon Winter, both of Tabatinga Central Rupununi, Lethem, and 37-year-old Neil Ross of Bachelor's Adventure, East Coast Emirara, was escorted to the Lethem police station along with the narcotics, which was tested positive for cannabis. The 31 small Ziploc bags weighed a total of 48 grams. Investigations are ongoing. These operations are part of Canoe's strategy to combat micro-trafficking within various communities, including schools, as recently reported in the press. Canoe continues to thank the public for supporting the operations within the various communities. Reporting for Headline News Update, Dale Jarvis.
Thanks, Dale. Don't go away after the break. El Salvadorians says many innocents arrested in crackdown on gangs, and WHO puts global COVID-19 death toll at nearly 15 million. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule sponsored by Antique and Modern Concrete Molding Establishments.
In a world filled with copycats and ever-changing trends, make your property stand out with unique concrete moldings. Different, exquisite designs carefully handcrafted to suit your style, with various customizable and antique and modern designs made at our factory. Antique and Modern Molding Establishment. We make your property outstanding. We make and install all moldings anywhere in Guyana.
The best quality, affordable prices, on-the-spot quotes, and no hidden fees.
Call us or WhatsApp us at 684-5050 or email us at modernestab@gmail.com. Antique and Modern Molding Establishment, made to stand out.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets. outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton, and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
The Guyana Elections Commission GCOM is currently conducting a cycle of continuous registration. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by October 31, 2022 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Eligible persons can apply for new registration if you were never registered, name change if you have changed your name since you were registered, correction if registration information is incorrect, and transfer if you have changed your address since you were registered. See Sunday Press for more details. This registration exercise will end on Sunday, May 29, 2022. For further information, contact GCOM on hotline numbers 225-5868, 225-5808, or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. One of Colombia's most notorious drug cartel bosses had been extradited to the United States, as well as being one of the biggest cocaine traffickers in the Americas. Otoniel, as he is known, is also wanted for murder, extortion, and kidnapping. Al Jazeera's Leah Harding has more.
He was the most wanted man in Colombia until his arrest in October. Now, wearing protective military gear, Dairo Antonio Usaga, also known as Otoniel, has been flown to the United States, charged with drug trafficking, murder, extortion, and kidnapping.
I'd like to inform you that Dairo Antonio Usuga, or Otoniel, was extradited. This criminal is comparable only to Pablo Escobar, killer of social leaders, abuser of children, boys, girls and teenagers alike, killer of police officers, and one of the most dangerous criminals in the world.
Otoniel is widely considered to be the boss of the Clan del Golfo, a powerful drug cartel that controls cocaine routes into Mexico and the United States.
This bandit was extradited to serve drug trafficking sentences in the US, but I want to be clear that once he serves those, he will return to Colombia to pay for the crimes he committed in our country.
Otoniel's lawyer argued against his extradition, saying he should be allowed to confess his role in Colombia's nearly 6 decades of internal conflict. But that request was denied. With a $5 million bounty on his head, Otoniel is now at the mercy of U.S. courts to decide his fate. Leah Harding, Al Jazeera.
In El Salvador, the government is continuing to crack down on suspected gang members, arresting more than 22,000 people. Human rights group says the detentions are often random, but the arrests are popular with the public, who have been suffering from gang violence. Al Jazeera's John Holman reports.
This is the image that the El Salvador government wants to transmit. Another suspected gang member off the streets, his tattoos giving away his affiliation to a criminal band. They've arrested more than 20,000 people in the last month and a half, as they seek to clean the MS-13 and Barrio 18 gangs out of neighbourhoods they've ruled for decades. But this also is an image of the crackdown, one of many women saying goodbye to a husband or a son as they disappear into the Salvadoran prison system. Here are others. I love you, son, she's saying. In March, after a murder spike, the country declared a state of emergency. That meant people could be arrested without a warrant. The Salvadoran Congress has extended that state of emergency till late May. Police continue to round up young men en masse. Inevitably, along with the guilty, human rights groups say the innocent have been taken. Marta Andaluz told Al Jazeera her son's one of the latter. He sells face masks to hospitals, she says, and helps her get by. Now she's used a quarter of what she makes in a month at her market stall to try and free him.
I don't know why the president is doing this to innocent people, people that aren't guilty. Fine, someone's done something, they should pay, but they're not guilty?
At least she knows where he is. Other women are going from prison to prison, trying to find their relatives. Look at the crowd here. And the crackdown goes on. In the Italia district, a well-known MS-13 stronghold, soldiers question and search everyone going in and out. But an overwhelming number of Salvadorans approve of President Nayib Bukele's actions.
We have stopped paying extortion. We're not paying anything now. The gang members haven't been seen. They have practically disappeared, and business is flowing. People are no longer afraid to come to the city center and walk the streets.
So many have suffered extortion, rape, killing, that even if some innocents have to suffer, others believe that's a price worth paying if they can simply be free. The question is if at the end of all the arrests, confusion and brutality, this will actually work. John Holman, Al Jazeera.
And internationally, the World Health Organization says we may only just now be realizing the true toll of the COVID-19 pandemic. It is sharply revising the number of deaths globally, with a warning to governments that it is not over yet. Al Jazeera's Heidi Zucastro reports.
The World Health Organization's estimate of close to 15 million global deaths due to COVID-19 is nearly 3 times the official death count of just under 5.5 million as reported by governments. The WHO says it used statistical modeling to arrive at the expanded number, which includes deaths directly from COVID and from other medical conditions that went untreated due to the pandemic's strain on health systems.
This is extremely important information for anyone to have, especially policymakers and the public. We need to know the true toll of the pandemic. We have to remember that behind these numbers are people.
According to the WHO's report, COVID-related deaths in India were nearly 10 times higher than the official count. Indian health officials pushed back against the report Thursday, attacking the WHO's use of statistical modeling.
Please appreciate that these kind of assumptions to be used for a nation of our size, of a continent size, and to put us in poor light is not desirable.
Other countries with large discrepancies include Pakistan, where, according to the WHO, excess deaths were 8 times higher than the official COVID death count. In Egypt, it was 12 times higher. And in Mexico, it was double.
I think the experts all along were very aware of the, let's say, shortcomings or tools that were not available right from the beginning. So the amount of testing, et cetera, would mean that there were many deaths that went unaccounted for.
The WHO says most of the excess deaths were concentrated in Southeast Asia, Europe, and the Americas, and were in middle-income countries. They also confirmed the global death toll was higher for men, who accounted for 57% of deaths.
The WHO is the first to caution that its report on global COVID-related deaths is an estimate and thus imperfect. But the agency says it is nevertheless important to get an accurate accounting of the pandemic's toll to better prepare for future threats. Heidi Jo Castro, Al Jazeera, Washington.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. And that is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. We will be back on Monday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.